So this is an answer to a question on the Akasha. This Akasha or Akasa, this principle that can be very, very hard to put into words or to glean an understanding of, and it's always shifting. And the understanding of what this is always, always shifting. Got a little friend following me here. Now, a way to look at this is through numerology. So you have one, which symbolizes one or oneness, the Godhead, so to speak, etc., etc., a singularity type of perspective where everything is one thing. And this is something that through meditative practice and other types of spiritual training, you can get closer and closer to experiencing a type of oneness where you become one with everything that is. So that would be the one. And this can be looked at as an all-encompassing type of light. Now, this light is, you could also look at it as an aspect of something that is one of more things, but we look at that as the one, this all-encompassing oneness, this light that everything, all spirit comes from. Now, one of my teachers back in the day made one of the best lessons he ever taught me. This is my friend Graham. He taught me that where there's one, there's two. So if we have oneness, that's one, the two would represent polarity or duality, a type of duality. So for oneness to experience itself from another perspective, you need the two, you need polarity, you need duality. And this brings us into where there's one, there's two, and if there's two, there's three. And the three is the Akasha. And this is sort of a bridge or a space that is totally paradoxical. It is the space of paradox, where things are both everything and isolated into polarity, where things can be both particle and wave, a transition phase, a place of transition, a place of within transition where multiple things can exist, where things can be two or more things at once. This is one way of looking at the Akasha, and why it's so hard to describe is because it is a place and a time that is timeless and placeless or spaceless. So it is pure paradox. And what does this allow for? It allows for a type of exploration, a free exploration, and a free type of understanding and play, essentially. It is the space in which both duality and, I guess we could call it singularity or oneness, can coexist and experience each other back and forth with a constantly fluctuating yet ever-present perspective point. And so you can look at the Akasha as this three, this space of a type of paradox, which would then bring you into the four, or the place of form. This place of form you can look at as on the other side of paradox, on the form side of paradox. So on the formless side of paradox, we have singularity and oneness. And in a sense, we have the formless nature of polarity and principle. You have this three of the paradox of Akasha, this space that interplays between both polarity and oneness. And then four is where polarity comes into form. This polarity passes through this Akashic bridge, this chaos of paradox, and then gets brought into form and order. And this is where you could look at many of the spiritual teachings and traditions can come from, is from this place of form and understanding. And then you start backtracking through those processes to get to the oneness once again. So this is just the 1 through 4. Of course, you have 5 through 9. But just looking at those first 4 numbers as a place to start and as a means of understanding some of what you're doing with the Akasha and where and how it can fit in. Of course, it is one of those substances and experiential feeling states or frequencies that is forever growing and forever changing, right? And so to get there, you have this 4 often associated with Jupiter as the almost, some people describe it as the spiritual center of the solar system, our solar system, obviously, as a means through that it can guide and govern the progression back through to the oneness. Okay, so anyway, I hope this was entertaining for you and that you enjoyed the views and my little dog friend here, who I have yet to name. So maybe you can come up with one for me. All right, have fun, practice.